Welcome back to talking about writing and stuff. So I am starting on my 10th book. So last time, remember, I was really not sure what I was gonna write, and I've been back and forth. If you don't know, that's my life. The zodiac of mine, us crabs, our symbol is like a 6 and a 9 kind of like swimming around each other. And I like to think that that is the two different brains that are just constantly circling, and you go back and forth on every single thing ever on the history of the universe. And writing is no different, but I am now committing to a plan. And so right now, my next project, book 10, will be a fiction book. I need a break from the witchcraft because the previous one is just so small, and my fiction is going to be huge. So it's also just a nice break, and they're fun, and I'm just writing for fun for these, and I think I need a project like that. So my 10th book is going to be a fantasy cozy mystery. I think that's a really fun kind of combo of different things, and so it's going to be very cozy in like the whimsical sense and more fantasy based in that it's going to be like all of the things. The series, I don't know that the titles are always going to stay this, but I have currently outlined them all, and each one kind of has a theme of like a specific something that it's going to be dealing with. So like we have vampire, werewolf, necromancer, banshee, dragon, and ghost. So it's going to be fun. And I am going to be outlining this in the weirdest way possible I think I could have imagined, but I think I need that because I am outlining the whole series at once, kind of. So whenever I have written a series, which I've tried two different variations for a fiction series, and the first one, it's a rough journey, you know? But my first series I started when I was a teenager, and I always kind of had a vague idea of where I wanted it to end, but that was about it. And so I wrote the first one, took forever on the second one, and then the third one is, I still think, my favorite book I've ever written. It's huge. It's got so many different elements to it. I really loved it. Nobody really likes it, but you know what? Sometimes you write for yourself, and that's fine. And I love these books. And then my next one, I didn't want it to be like an official series, and I didn't want to have like this like really stuck in for like, it has to be this many books, and it has to be this like story over several books. And it was just more of like a you can jump in wherever kind of adventure. And I got 2 of them done, and now I'm like, I don't like it. And they're not really selling anyways. I'm kind of bored with it. And I think having that start and end point really firmly decided is very helpful. And so that's what this next series is going to be, and I only have this year to write it. So that might sound crazy, because it is. But yeah, so this series, there's only going to be 6 books, and I'm getting them all written this year. So how I am outlining it and how it's really different this time is that I am using Google Slides. So I've tried outlining with Word, like the equivalent of Word. I think it's Google Sheets or something like that. I use that pretty frequently, but I couldn't do it this time. I needed pretty, I needed visual, I needed a vibe, and it wasn't it. And I've tried other times to outline with Google Sheets, so Excel. I've done that many a times. And then this time, I'm just choosing absolute chaos, and I'm making a PowerPoint slide thing of my outline. Why? I don't know. It's pretty, and I like having the different pages to look at, and it takes up the whole page so I can write as much as I want on it, or it's little and like break it up. And I picked the one that's a book report, so it's cute. It looks like it's an open book. It's fun. So yeah, it's a thing that I'm trying this time, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I've gotten the overview of the series done, so that basically how I want this series to run is like what's very common in a lot of the cozy mysteries is you have your main characters, like their main plot, and their plot slowly builds per book. And so I didn't want mine to, I didn't know what I wanted it to be. It's kind of hard to pick like your background plot that's a very slow burn, and it's the driving force of your character, but it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the contained story necessarily. Like, the contained story is like its own like little mystery thing that it's doing, and then the back plot is your character's like actual life and what's going on long term. And so that was the first thing I decided I needed to do, was to pick what is my main character going to do for 6 books. What's that storyline? Because that I need to know more, because the other ones will be individual little things that it's doing. But basically I decided, looking at my notes, each book has to have like its main plot that it's doing, which obviously is going to be the mystery, the subplot, which is going to be like that specific thing that character's working on, and like also like the overall plot point of this character's arc that I'm working on. And I think that's kind of how I'm gonna run it ish, because I feel like there's always like a main plot and a subplot of what's going on per book, and then there's also like the background plot, which is what I worked on. That's going to be the background plot is like all of the books. The subplot is specific also in that book, but usually it's like the details maybe relating, or maybe it's some other drama plus the actual like mystery. So right now what I have plotted is my character's long backstory overview thing of what's going to be happening, what's their driving force for all of the books. Again, I've planned 6, and so my main character, who does not even have a name yet, by the way, I know what magical creature they're going to be. It's kind of like a spooky Halloween kind of vibe. I don't know my character's name. I just know that they are a sorceress, and that's all I got going for me right now. So the series itself is called The Other Side Mysteries, which I think is so fun. It's gonna be awesome. The page is glorious. The Other Side Mysteries, a 6-book fantasy cozy mystery. And then again, I have the 6 books. So they are currently timidly titled Mystery at the Undead Inn, The Curse at Howling Moon Ranch, Mystery of the Missing Necromancer, The Curse at Banshee Lake, Mystery of the Dragon Thief, and Curse at Haunted Hollows. Oh yeah, are they not awesome? I love it. This is my fun series. I don't give a crap if I sell any copies. I would love if you wanted to, but I'm writing this for fun. Like, this is just a fun project. That's what fiction has kind of just become for me. That's one of the things that I am carrying of my rules, is that fiction is just for fun. It's my break writing, because I still like to write. I still want to stay into it, and I do want to build up a like back catalog, and I love writing fiction. It just doesn't sell. But you know what? Maybe this is the series that's going to be the Kickstarter, because I am writing it just for fun. And like, I did the other 2, my last 2 fiction ones, as kind of a getting to this point process. But like, I did need to write The Graveshift just to heal a part of me that I just needed. I needed to tell that story for me, and that was it. It's a very specific to me situation, and I told it, and I'm good. And I told The Witch's Night was like my intro to like feeling out how I would do things, and I just, you know, I was timidly stepping in, and now here I am at The Other Side Mysteries, and I feel so excited about it. It's just for funsies, and one of the things is that, and I don't know why I cannot remember her name. Like, there is just like some block in the brain, but the Cozy Creative, her actual like pen name, that's like Lena Foxglove, I think. But also, maybe it's just because I don't know how to spell that name, so I can't like picture it in my head, so it just doesn't exist. Because like, and it's Lydia. It's Lydia. It's not even Lena. It's Lydia Foxglove. See, it's just a name that just does not click, which it should. I mean, it's from Beetlejuice, but no, I can't ever remember. I remember Foxglove. That's what I think of her. It's the Cozy Creative Foxglove. That's her name in my brain. And then I always forget it's Lydia, and I want to call Lena. And yeah, her. If she ever watches my channel, she's gonna think I'm freaking insane. It's fine. But she said I think she said it a few different times in her videos, but I can think of a couple where it was something like to write for your teenager, and then like just write trash, basically. And that's where I'm at. Like, it's not that I'm not gonna try at this, like obviously I want it to succeed, but there is something that's so healing to just like write what your teenage self would want. And this is kind of where I'm at for this one. I've never really loved like the very graphic books, in that I don't really, like, leave me at the door. I'm good. I don't want spicy, which is really hard to find in adult books. And I also don't want extremely graphic and like trying to like just thriller kind of things where it's really trying to get your emotions going. I don't want that either. I want casual, I want lighthearted, I want chill that you find in kids books. But also, like, they're not as easy to find. Cozy is becoming bigger though, so I am finding more, but sometimes it's hard to find series that you like. And so I'm kind of combining my love of cozy mysteries, obviously, with my love of Halloween. I've loved Halloween forever and always. I always just feel at home there, and I want to like rekindle how I used to feel as a kid reading like Halloween books, and like I would always just instantly seek those ones out. Like I remember Scholastic, I was always looking for the Halloween looking books, and those were my favorites anytime we had like a Halloween section. Like I remember I had like this kids storybook that they had a couple Halloween stories, and they were my favorite because it was Halloween. So I wanted a cozy mystery set in like a Halloween kind of world, and so that's what this is. It's like a Halloween kind of vibe. Like it's not necessarily like Halloween town, but it's a spooky town, and it's gonna be awesome. And I think that's like the big factor that is making me want to keep doing it, is like I'm just excited for the fun of it. And like I'm gonna keep some of the elements for like cozy mysteries of like it's an amateur sleuth, and like, you know, there's a few key components that I'll have to actually plot. But currently my big three is that you have your main character like motivating plot, that's like the very background plot, then you have like the actual subplot of the particular book, and then the main plot, which is the actual mystery of the individual book. And so I think breaking it down into those three main categories is going to be huge to make sure I actually do the things. But currently my main character, who I have no idea who they are, but they're currently listed as MC for main character, but my MC, I have decided, is like a journalist and wants to take over and kind of fix up the town's paper. She doesn't like what it's doing. It's very dated and old and just really doesn't have a lot of information. And then progressively, a whole bunch of stuff is going to happen to where eventually she is now running the town's newspaper. Is that a stupid side plot? Totally. Why would a sorceress want to run a newspaper? But also, why not? You know what? Like, I'm gonna have werewolves running a ranch, you know, and like vampires running a bed and breakfast kind of a deal. But obviously, I don't know how you would change it, because breakfast would technically be dinner for most people, but you know what I mean. So currently that's kind of where I'm at for my outlining. I have got the 6 major points for my main character to do, her like motivating things that she wants to work on, the setbacks of it, and then next I will be outlining vaguely, I think maybe each book, but also I feel like maybe I'll just leave that. I have her backstory of what's going to be going on, because typically, first of all, I like to write, well, I don't know, I like to switch it up, but usually I write the same gender as me. But anyways, it is going to be a girl, sorceress, obviously. I think, actually, you know what, I think I am just going to outline the first book and just run with that and then touch on them. If I have notes that I need to add for later, I will, but I think that's going to be the next step, is outlining that next. The first book is going to be next. So I will come back for that video where I am outlining book 10, which tentatively is going to be Mystery at the Undead Inn. So if you want to check out my other books, they're always linked down below. And of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to know what you are writing, and until next time, keep reading.